Brandywine High School's broadcast journalism department is pretty new, but it is now getting worldwide attention. The district brought in a professional true crime podcaster to lead the program, and his students are now proving they have what it takes to make a difference. The students' podcast is called Underestimated, and it's shining a new light on Michigan cold cases.
We want to make a difference in the world. We are underestimated.
That is the Underestimated Bobcat Media podcast.
That is completely done by the students here at Brandywine.
Bob Ruff runs the broadcasting program and teaches the class.
The investigative journalism class it's pretty unique. I don't know that anything like this exists anywhere, certainly not in the state.
Since the beginning of the school year, 30 students across 2 different classes have been investigating Michigan cold cases. They gathered information from police, witnesses, and family, conducted interviews, looked at crime scene photos, and dug through case files.
I told them that the ultimate goal is to turn that into a serialized podcast where you're going to tell this story in a way that it's going to make an impact.
So the case we're working on is Jeanette Robertson. It was up in Reed City, Michigan.
Stephanie Cruz and Chelsea Olson are part of the student team investigating the 4-decade-old murder of a young mom who was brutally murdered at work.
On January 19, 1983, at the time of her murder, Jeanette was 27 years old.
So our first step is to always gather information and understand what was going on. So what was she doing? When was she murdered? Was she murdered during the nighttime, daytime?
What they discovered through their research and consulting with an FBI profiler was that the original investigators may have missed important details.
The original investigators, they had an idea of who killed her, and they was so stuck on oh, it's a male, and it was just kind of shocking that they never looked into something else.
Based on all of these behaviors, we personally believe that the unsub that we're looking for is a young female.
The first episode of Underestimated dropped in March. There are now 20 episodes covering multiple cases.
They've done everything that any professional podcaster or journalist would do. In fact, everything from gathering the information, conducting the interviews, writing the scripts, recording. We had a student that put together the music, that composed the music that we use in the podcast.
Now a year's worth of work for these high school students is paying off.
I'm trying to get an end goal out of these students where they have something they can be proud of that exists out, and they do, they have a podcast that has 100,000 downloads. It's being listened to in 90 countries. I mean, it's a big deal.
And that's an important piece for Ruff and for his students.
Our goal with this, even if we can't solve it, is just to get more eyes on the case, get people focused on it so they know what's happening.
No one has seen or heard from him since.
Gracie McNamara is part of the team investigating a series of cases involving missing people.
Chris Temple was a high school student, around 17 years old and soon to graduate.
McNamara is hoping to shine a light on those cases for the sake of the victims and their families.
To see that the police didn't give this child the attention that he deserves was really hard.
I feel like when I listen to him, I feel like the story is getting out.
Avery Bright and her team spent the year investigating the case of Janice Sanders and Janice Langs. They disappeared without a trace in the 70s.
Now, one huge connection in both Janice's case and Janice's case is they both went missing a little while after breaking up with Jerry and after they both moved back home with their parents.
This is a story WSBT has covered extensively as police have ramped up their investigation into a now dead main suspect.
It was kind of interesting, knowing that we could possibly figure out what happened to Janice Sanders.
Our whole goal was to give Jeanette a voice.
The students say they've learned a lot about investigating, a lot about journalism, and a lot about themselves.
With this class, it makes me realize that all of us have more potential than what we think, and I think that's just kind of amazing.
And they hope that along the way, they've made a difference.
Now, as we record this final episode, we feel that we can confidently say, mission accomplished.
I'll put a link to the Underestimated Bobcat Media podcast on this story on WSBT.com. You can stream it on nearly a dozen platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Amazon, and Spotify.
Thanks for watching. Here's another story you may like. And subscribe to the WSBT 22 YouTube channel.